Song in his birthplace, there is something beyond imagination, which kind of blessing we have. And I would like to request to glorify Srinivasacharya to His Holiness Bhakti Dira Damodar Swami Maharaj.
Ой, молитесь про ты камера.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
So we are sitting in this holy place. Hard is a very auspicious place because Srinivasacharya came from here. He is an expansion of Chakundi. The Pentecostal they have expansion before giving, they also expanded themselves. It is not always expanded as love. And it is not how to expanded as Srinivasacharya. Who was born here, we have been told that the deity here belonged to his father. The father worshipped, and his umbilical cord is very small. That's one house there. And this place is pushed aside. Here is pushed aside. He specifically came to expand Krishna consciousness. So he went to Navali, so we came to Navali. I think to come out he was not there. So we went there. He didn't know we had sent down how to reach out. So he was at the bank of Nanga. Isani Takura came in and saw him. And he came up to the house and informed Bishop prayer. Welcome to Tanaka. And he saw an exceptional devotee at the mountain.
Oh, sorry, this is mic is better?
Yes, better.
This one? Maybe because the speaker. Sorry, Maharaj.
I was mentioning how Senior Acharya came to me. And I was- And because he didn't know exactly the house of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he went to the house of Gandhi. And Isan Takura came there and saw him. The devotee knows the devotee. So Isan Takura was able to identify his people. When he came back to the house, he found Vishnu, that he saw an exceptional devotee at the ground. Immediately, Vishnu Priya understood who is he. And she gave cooking ingredients for one person. And he asked Isan Takura to go and give it to him. So he went to the Ganga and delivered the ingredients to Srinivas. Srinivas cooked. It was meant for one person, so he cooked. While he was doing the offering, Vishnu Priya sent 12 devotees to go and meet him. 12 devotees. Understand? Can you understand?
Both.
Вави говорите.
Hare Krishna.
Better.
So hear it because it's something about the pure devotees. So it's very important for us to hear it. We hear about pure devotees to get purified. We will develop all the qualities of pure devotees if we hear about them. Especially these wonderful devotees like Srinivasa Acharya. So, Vishnu Priya tested his devotion. She gave food stuff for one person. Srinivas cooked the preparation. While he was offering, Vishnu Priya Devi sent 12 devotees to go and meet him. So the devotees arrived as he was removing the offering. And they informed him that they are hungry and they want to eat. So Srinivas said, "There's no problem. Sit down and I will serve you aside." They look at the quantity. They ask him, how you want to serve this food to 12 people? This food is meant for one person. How you going to serve this to 12 people? Srinivasa Acharya said, "Don't worry, just sit down." So he washed the plate and served him his prasad. Prasadam meant for one person was served for 2. That means my Lord himself He didn't serve himself. He served his 12 devotees that came to see him. After taking this prasadam, these 12 devotees had difficulty finishing the prasadam on their plate. They tried and finished the prasadam, but their belly was full. They were fully satisfied. The Sridhar demonstrated to us the potency of prasadam, and also the level of his renunciation. That means that day he did not eat, because what he was to eat was served to the 12 devotees who came, and he didn't complain. It is a devotee who complain that the prasadam will not be enough for people. He himself didn't complain. He served the prasadam, and everybody was satisfied. So he passed the test. Vishnu prayer, fasting. You are a pure devotee, because he was selfless devotee. They don't care for himself, but he care for the devotees. And another day, Srinivasa is sat down to worship his deity. As he sat down before the deity to worship the deity, he meditated on his deity in the process of worshiping the Lord. The deities are not marble. The deities are not stone. The deities are not metal. They are not wood. This is directly the Supreme Lord. Directly. So Srinivasa has sat down to worship the deities. Before worshiping the deities, a good pujari will take permission to do the service. Apart from the mantra, the regular mantras for chanting. Apart from the regular mantras for chanting before deity worship, Srinivasa he sat down before his deities and meditating on his deity, he left physically and went to work. But he didn't change the body. He did not die. He went into trance. Srinivasa has two wives. He had two wives, so his wife became a very woman. One day, the other one is sitting for deity worship. 6 o'clock in the morning. What the time now? What the time?
It's 2 o'clock.
2 o'clock. He's still sitting. 2 o'clock. The husband is sitting there. What will you do? What's happening to my husband? 6 o'clock in the evening. He's still sitting there. He couldn't control himself. He lamented. Therefore, he will wait. Our husband has left the body. The body is sitting on the chair, but it didn't fall. Because it's still connected. We have to call other devotees to come and see what is happening. Because they are sitting for too long. They sent for Srinivasa Ramachandra Kavya. It's a beauty. So when he came, Ramachandra Kavya, when he came, he looked at his spiritual master, offered the blessing and touched his feet. He joined his spiritual master. In the meditation, he was tracing where his guru was. He saw that his guru is in his yoga and was participating in a very sweet pastime. Want to hear? Srinivasa went to Goloka, and then he saw that Radharani and the gopis, they were playing with Krishna in Jamuna. That was debating. Means what? He was also participating. He was participating in that pastime. Then when he's sitting there and his wife were worried. So the disciple who is like his guru traced the guru and saw that his guru is very engaged in some pastimes. So he came back for his guru to announce to the disturbed wife, don't worry, they will soon come back. No worry. But he did not come back until the next day. The next day. So Srinivasa said, I saw that the gopis and Krishna was absorbed in the play. It was so absorbed in the play that Srinivasa don't notice that I'm not saying fair. Inside Jamuna. What do you call it, Jamuna? Black. So something for the side. Will you see? Right? Will you see? So if you are going to ask you to find the nursery, what will you do?
We will try. Search. We will search.
Guru said, find this ring. What will you do? What will you do? I'm asking you.
Find.
The nursery, imagine the nursery fell inside the dark Jamuna. And the Guru said, look for it. Oh, really? That was the question. I'm not leaving to answer the question. What will you do?
Go search.
Search. Okay. In the dark river that you don't see anything. What will you do? It is impossible to go there. This goal is too difficult. Let me look another one. How is it that you don't know that the water is dark? What can you see in the dark room? The floor, the dark room, not in the dark room, inside the dark room. You can't see the water. But Srinivasa was asked, look for the ring. So when the ring came out, the water with all the associates, including Krishna, then they noticed that the nose ring was gone. She didn't notice because of her absorption in the pastime. She didn't notice it. Only when she came out, the nose ring was not there. Okay, you go and look for it. And they left. He sighed. searched and searched and searched and searched, and they couldn't find it because the water is dark. How big is the nursery? How big is the nursery?
Very tiny.
Small. Inside. Do you understand? Can we follow? Are you in Jamuna or you are saying what are you? Are you in Jamuna? Yes. Let's be in Jamuna. What's a child? Where? Krishna is. We should be with them. This is the point. We should be with them. So we are all participating. Let all of us participate. Very small mushroom fell in a dark Jamuna river. And we are requested to look for it. We are searching. Are you searching? Right? Please search. Search for it. If you see it, let me know. So they go to search and they do not see it. Until Srinivas returned from Loka, he came to the river. And what are you looking for? I'm looking for the ocean as he was there. He entered into the water and saw the ocean on a leaf, on top of a leaf. The leaf was placed on the leaf. So he picked it and came out to the Jamuna. He came back to the house and gave the ring to Simati. This is song. Srivasacharya's exceptional activities. And while he was here, in this very place he was sitting, the dust from his lotus feet is here. The dust is here. His footprints are here. The dust from here can give us God, Krishna consciousness. The dust from here, we can get Krishna consciousness from here. So, we are very, very fortunate and eternally grateful to His Holiness Japan Swami Maharaj, who has sent all of you to come here in association of wonderful senior devotees here. They are guiding us. So we are eternally indebted to them and we show our gratitude to them by taking the dust of this place on our head and pray seriously for the mercy. And it will become a reality in our life. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Is it on?
No, off.
Hare Krishna.
Maybe the battery.
Hare Krishna.
Also
Is it
off,
on?
off.
No. Yes.
Sometimes yes, sometimes.
Hare Krishna.
Very nice.
Srinivas is particularly remembered
When he was sent, he was.
I don't think, is it?
Oh, okay.
Srinivas,
along with Shamananda and Narottam.
they were the three top students in Jiva Goswami's school. Jiva Goswami had begun his Gurukula to train the devotees in the Vaishnava philosophy, as taught by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Srinivas, along with Narottam and Shamananda, they were the top students in the school. And they were also expert musicians. They could play instruments and sing lead kirtans, very, very amazing kirtans. So Jiva Goswami wanted to send the three of them back to Bengal because the devotees in Bengal were suffering. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had first of all taken sannyas and left them, and then, of course, 24 years later, he entered into his eternal abode. He disappeared from this mortal world. So the devotees were very broken-hearted, in despair. And the best thing to help them, Jiva Goswami decided the best thing to help them, to encourage them, was to give them the books of the Goswamis. The Goswamis had been residing in Vrindavan, Rupa and Sanatan particularly, along with Sri Jiva Goswami. The three of them wrote extensively, like Rupa Goswami particularly wrote Upadeshamrita and Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Then Sanatana, he had written Brihat Bhagavatamrita, and Bhakti Ratnakar was also Sanatan, no? Who wrote Bhakti Ratnakar? Narahari Thakur.
So, and you, Sanatan.
Sanatan had written some other books, I can't remember now.
Hari Bhakti Vilas.
Hari Bhakti Vilas, okay, thank you, yes. And Jiva Goswami had written Sandarbhas.
Yes,
So there was a lot of nectar to be taken. And Jiva Goswami arranged, got all the books of the Goswamis and put them in a big trunk and gave them a bullock cart and gave them an escort to go to Bengal and bring the books, the three of them. However, when they were on the way, one night they had to pass through a kingdom where the king was something of a dacoit. And the king was told by his astrologer that there's a party of people coming who are carrying a great treasure. So when the king heard this, he arranged that his men would go in the night, and while that party of people, in which the three devotees, Shamananda, Narottama and Srinivas were in, that they were all taking rest. They've been walking, so you get tired, when you're walking all day, you get tired. So they were taking rest at night, and the king's men came and they stole the trunk. They had been told by the king there's a great treasure in the trunk. The king had been told by his astrologers that it's very valuable. So they came there in the night and they stole the trunk with the books in. They thought it was some treasure. So when the devotees woke up in the morning and saw that the trunk was missing with all the books, they were devastated. What to do? They were supposed to bring the books there. Anyway, it was decided that Narottam, he would go on to Bengal, to his place at Keturigram, and Shamananda, he went to Orissa, which was his place, and Srinivas remained in that area to search out what had happened to the books, to try to find the books. So while Srinivas was searching out what had happened to the books, he heard how there's a regular discourse on the Bhagavatam in the king's palace. And the king had some pandit there who was speaking on the Bhagavatam. So Srinivas thought he could also go, just hear what they're saying. So Srinivas was sitting there and he was hearing this Brahmana speak on the Bhagavad philosophy. But Srinivas could understand the Brahmana was not in any real knowledge of the real message of the Bhagavatam. You could say something like Devananda Pandit. Devananda Pandit, he was also teaching Bhagavatam, but he had no real clear understanding of the message of Bhagavatam and the importance of devotion to the Supreme Lord. So Srinivas was sitting hearing the king's pandit speak on the Bhagavatam, and he could hear all the mistakes he was making. So after some time, Srinivas then stood up and began to point out the faults in everything the Brahmana had said. And everyone was just amazed to hear Srinivas speak. Srinivas was explaining the real purport of the Srimad Bhagavatam. And the king and the king's pandit and everyone, they were all completely astonished to hear Srinivas. And they went on to become his disciples. And so then, at one point, the king told Srinivas that, I found a treasure. While some people were coming through my kingdom, my men brought me some treasure. And he showed Srinivas the trunk. And Srinivas recognized that this was the trunk with the books in. So Srinivas was very happy. He got the books back. And he stayed there. He got the king to become his disciple. And the king went on to build temples and to support the Vaishnava. So when you get the support of the rulers, then the preaching is made very easy. So this all happened to Srinivas Acharya. He was so powerful, such a successful preacher. He could get back the books after they had been stolen. So actually this was the first traveling Sankirtan book distribution party, right? Just like we have so many buses go out from Mayapur and Mumbai and different temple, Delhi and everywhere. They have temple, they have buses, and they have groups of devotees go around, buses full of books. So it all began from Srinivas Acharya with Narottam and Shamananda. They were sent out by Jiva Goswami. They were sent out to deliver the books to Bengal, to all the devotees over in Bengal. But by the grace of Lord Krishna, they were able to get the books back and to go on and preach and give the Vaishnava solace from the teachings of the Goswami. So this was Srinivasacharya's great contribution, that he had got the books back after it had been stolen, and he had converted the king and all the pundits in the kingdom. He made them all into devotees, and he taught them the real message of the Bhagavatam and all the Vaishnava scriptures. So Srinivasacharya did so much nice preaching. And as we heard, he also wrote this Goswami Astikam, because he'd gone there to Vrindavan, he stayed there in Vrindavan, he studied there in Vrindavan, and he'd heard everything about the Goswamis. So he describes the activities of the Goswamis in his 8 verses in his Goswami Astikam. And Srila Prabhupada took that second verse from the Goswami Astikam and he put it in the preface of his Nectar of Devotion book. Right? The second verse. That I offer my respectful obeisances to the 6 Goswamis who are engaged in scrutinizingly studying all the revealed scriptures with the aim of establishing eternal religious principles. Thus they are honored all over the 3 worlds, and they are worth taking shelter of because they are engaged in the transcendental loving service of Radha and Krishna and are absorbed in the mood of the gopis. So the mood of the gopis is this Vipralamba Seva, service and service in separation. So Srinivasacharya, he used to, as we heard from Damodar Maharaj, he used to meditate, and they could transfer themselves into the spiritual world. They had that power. Because they've been in Vrindavan, they spent time in Vrindavan, and they perfected their spiritual life. And they were able to reap the fruit of their devotional practice in the mood of the gopis and service to Radha and Krishna. So they followed in the footsteps of the Goswami. They were trained by Jiva Goswami, and then they followed him and they brought the message and distributed it to everyone.